Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. And we've got Latvius from Clan Dig in this Tier 8 P-44 Pantera Italian medium Tier 8 tank, tech tree tank. A lot like a Progetto, but different. I guess it's kind of based on a Panther. It sort of resembles one, but it's got the Italian autoloader in it. And he has logged in to Sand River, spawned in, logged in, whatever you want to call it. And over on the east side, he's head up to the northeast, and he's going to try to clear out this north part. You see some kind of interesting gameplay here. Latvius has a pretty good game, but it illustrates some of the interesting meta options on this map. There is sometimes a big brawl up here and sometimes not. There tends to be one up here more when it's encounter mode, but not necessarily always. It's just kind of what you find, and you can see that it's him and a T-71DA. He's got another heavy, which I believe is a T-150, and a Thunderbolt, so two more Tier 6s coming up. But what he realizes pretty quickly is the enemy simply did not invest much up here, and that happens sometimes. Okay, so there's not going to be a big brawl up here, but we've taken a considerable amount of our forces. What are we going to do about it? Well, I agree with this. It looked like the 12T was making a runner. You could tell by he had turned around. Once the Type 64 died, off he went. Latvius assesses correctly that there's probably nobody here, and he comes down and he's got a T-3045M and the running away of the Batchat 12T. And he's going to push. But you'll notice that there's a lot of guns left in the game. There's a pretty good crowd down there in the southwest. There's a pretty good crowd in the middle, so there's probably not too much up on the cap, or near the cap, but this JP is showing why it's a strong position, because it is hard to get at him. There's plenty of bushes to hide in. There's some rocks to sneak behind, and it is not an easy cap to push, especially this early in the game. Now they've got a slight lead at 3-2. He knows that the T-3045 is sitting there, so that's somebody that needs to go. And he's going to come up high here, but this is also going to expose him. He's going to take a shot. He gets a bounce, probably rotates, and he goes in for the second shot, and he eats 299 from the JP. All right, they got the 3045 out. Maybe get a shot. Nope, not quite. Doing a nice job managing the reloads, although it's not that big a deal with the Italian version because it just reloads. You have to think about how many you're going to dump at any one time, but it's not like you're going to press C and reclip. So he pushes in. All right. The reason I brought up all that about whether there's a fight up in the northeast and what you find there and what you're going to do is because this is where it gets interesting on this map. And this is kind of the meta now. The east side wins the north, the west side sort of wins the south, and then they both try to push in this big round robin, right? Ring around the rosy going on here. But it's difficult to push up onto this cap. In addition to that, if the red team, in which they do in this case, own all of these sand dunes down here, they have shots straight into the cap. It's my opinion that you would at this point turn around and go back. Now, you kind of got to get rid of this JP. You can't let him sit up there and snipe the snot out of you. So it takes us a while to get rid of him. We bounce. You might want to try to get into the side of the tank. There you go. And we got an M12. The SP-1C is now a one-shot. We're going to kill off this JP. Nope. It's a look-up shot at highly angled armor. Or more highly angled from this angle anyway, because you're look-up. I think on this one he's going to try to get into the side of the tank. There we go. And down goes the JP. Good deal. Want to get rid of the M12. But look what's going on down at our cap down there. Which is why I say, in general, if you get that far, and that far being this dune back here, not necessarily into this part of the map, it's probably best just to turn back around and start working through the middle and try to shoot the enemy guys in the side, or at least get down here and start to capture this part of the dune here. Being careful that you don't get shot from their snipers up here. But we're moving through, and now we have to do this kind of difficult and dangerous game of who caps first, right? Two KV-85s are trying to get on the green cap. They've got a EZ-8 trying to help them. The Progetto's sort of trying to own the middle. You got a Scorpion looking at his own cap, trying to keep Latvius's. I'm doing so many of these right now. I'm trying to keep the name straight. Latvius's team honest. And here comes the Progetto, who's coming back to the middle. Kind of like I just talked about as being a good idea. The interesting thing there is he actually hits the Progetto. The Progetto was firing, which is going to decrease his camo quite a bit. And the Progetto was moving, which decreased his camo, but not enough that Latvius could see him until the Progetto fired. So he spotted again. We got a guy over here. We got a Scorpion looking at him. Put a shot into him. Scorpion backs off and gets away, and that's the little American Scorpion version. Latvius correctly assesses that the Progetto is probably trying to get around behind him, so I like this move right here. First time I watched it, I wasn't sure what he was doing, and then I realized, oh, he remembered the stinking Progetto was going that way, so nicely done. Progetto gets a shot, but Latvius started shooting first, and his reload is going to happen before the Progetto's, and down it goes. So fantastic, nicely done. But you can see we got the kind of dueling, we've got the dueling cap thing going on. The Scorpion is looking there to do something about the cap, to keep the 150 and Thunderbolt from capping him. Latvius has two guys on. Why the AMD didn't get on with the KV-85, I don't know. I'm sorry, 1375, not AMD. Why the 1375, AMX 1375 didn't get on. And the Thunderbolt ends up dying to the M44. He gets spotted. Scorpion's spotting these guys, and for whatever reason he fires and does not back off and ends up getting mortared. And that was a good kill because that helps him from being spotted. Now Latvius is attempting to not get hit by artillery. He does get hit, but they're still ahead in the cap game. And once again, I'll say we don't see the 1375 show back up. I have no idea why. Maybe he tipped himself over or he took the long route or whatever he was doing, because even 30 seconds seemed like plenty for that speed tank to get back. And really they're kind of relying on the M44. I think he just fired into that back corner. One thing I'll say here, Latvius, is I don't think there's any reason to be moving. Moving decreases your camo. You might as well get somewhere towards the back. I don't know if I'd sit right on the back because that's kind of where the M44 is guessing, but I might be somewhere near the back, about where the 150 is maybe. There's zero reason for either one of you to be moving. The only thing that moving does is it can complicate the Arty's shot if they see you, and it can complicate the 1375 shot if they see you, but I think you gain more by being stationary and making them come closer before they have to fire so that you can see them doing that. Just my opinion. I see that a lot, people moving around. What I would say is too much. But they end up winning by 8 seconds. Nicely done. 2,639 damage, 458 assists right there. A good example on old Sand River here of kind of the ring around a rosy meta that goes on. If you don't get that big scrum up in the north, what do? Do you push onto their cap or do you flex back? I think I would have flexed back and helped clean up the cap. That seems the more dangerous thing to me being able to win. I think the enemy team just screwed up by not piling 3 guys on and capping you out. But they were dealing with a couple guys they had to kill back there. Probably could have easily beat you. They had for a while more tanks than you had. Should have been able to easily cap you out down there. But that's the danger of this one. You know, nice job winning, but it was kind of nip and tuck. And I think had you flexed back with all your hit points and firepower, you'd have eaten all the rest of those guys alive. Or maybe been able to deal with the Progetto a little earlier. But still, it's a W, right? Nicely done, man. Actually, this is pretty funny. Watch the food disappear. I guess you don't get to eat the food till the very end, right? Here it comes. 4 is still lit. Boom, there it goes. After you win, then your crew gets to eat the food. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it, and we will see you.